Hello, welcome to Azure Container Instances. In this session, we will talk about Azure Container Instances, and then we will log into Azure portal. And I will show you how to deploy a container using Azure portal. By running your workloads in Azure Container Instances, you can focus on designing and building your applications instead of managing the infrastructure that runs them. What is Azure Container Instances? Containers are becoming the preferred way to package, deploy, and manage cloud applications. Azure Container Instances offers the fastest and simplest way to run a container in Azure without having to manage any virtual machines and without having to adopt a higher level service. Deploy containers to the cloud with unprecedented simplicity and speed with a single command. Use Azure Container Instances to provision additional compute for demanding workloads whenever you need. For example, with the virtual kubelet, use Azure Container Instances to elastically burst from your Azure Kubernetes service cluster when traffic comes in spikes. Azure Container Instances is a great solution for any scenario that can operate in isolated containers, including simple applications, task automation, and build jobs. For scenarios where you need full container orchestration, including service discovery across multiple containers, automatic scaling, and coordinated application upgrades, Azure recommends Azure Kubernetes Service. Container access. Azure Container Instances enables exposing your container groups directly to the internet with an IP address and a fully qualified domain name. When you create a container instance, you can specify a custom DNS name label. So your application reachable at the created DNS name label. Azure Container Instances also supports executing a command in a running container by providing an interactive shell to help with application development and troubleshooting. Access takes place over HTTPS using TLS to secure client connections. Why trust container instances? Microsoft invests more than $1 billion annually on cybersecurity research and development. Microsoft employ more than 3,500 security experts completely dedicated to your data security and privacy. Azure has more compliance certifications than any other cloud provider. What is a container group? What is a container group? A container group is a collection of containers that get scheduled on the same host machine. The containers in a container group share a lifecycle, resources, local network, and storage volumes. It is similar in concept to a pod in Kubernetes. If you see, in the diagram, it is scheduled on a single host machine. It is assigned a DNS name label. DNS name label myapp.com eastus.azurecontainer.in. It exposes a single public IP address with one exposed port. It consists of two containers. One container listens on port 80, while the other listens on port 5000. It includes two Azure file shares as volume mounts, and each container mounts one of the shares locally. Deploy a multi-container group. Here are two common ways to deploy a multi-container group. Use a resource manager template or a YAML file. A resource manager template is recommended when you need to deploy additional Azure service resources when you deploy the container instances. Due to the YAML format's more concise nature, a YAML file is recommended when your deployment includes only container instances. Virtual network scenarios and resources. Azure Virtual Network provides secure, private networking for your Azure and on-premises resources. By deploying container groups into an Azure Virtual Network, your containers can communicate securely with other resources in the virtual network. Containers groups deployed into an Azure Virtual Network enable scenarios like direct communication between the container groups, send tasks based on the workload output, use NSG rules to control container access to subnets or other network resources. Unsupported networking scenarios, Azure Load Balancer, and Global Virtual Network Peering. And we will log into Azure Portal, and I will show you how to deploy a container instances using Azure Portal. I'm logging into Azure Portal now. So we're in the Azure Portal now. Just go to Home. When you are at home, just go to Search Resources, Services. Just type container. You can see under Services, Container Instances. So click on plus Add button. Now we can see the window Create Container Instance. We need to create a resource group. I'll just keep a name Container Resource Group. Then I will give a name My Container. And we need to pick a region. Recommended region East US. There are several other regions which Azure recommends. I picked East US. Now image source. So we're gonna use quick start images in this demo. If you want to use Azure Container Registry, just click on Azure Container Registry. Then you need to have this Azure Container Registry. So no Azure Container Registry was found for the selected subscription. So, but for now, for this demo, we are using quick start images. And image, we have 3 available: Microsoft Linux, and then other Linux, and then we have Microsoft Windows. For this demo, I'll just use this Microsoft Windows image, and then we can change the size if needed. But for now, I'll just keep this as a default. Let's go to networking. So if you see networking type, public and none. So it is already enabled public. Public will create a public IP address for your container instance, where private will allow you to choose a new or existing virtual network for your container instance. And we need to give a DNS name label. I'll just say learning path 2020. This is available, and our DNS name label will be learning path 2020.eastus, where we are deploying this eastus.azure container IO. Let's go to advanced. A restart policy on failure. Let's just keep this as a default. Let's go to review the validation test. Let's deploy this container instance. The deployment in progress. while this deployment is in progress, I want to tell you what can you build with Azure Container Instances. Azure Container Instances provides fast, isolated compute to meet traffic that comes in spikes without the need to manage servers. Data processing jobs. Use Azure Container Instances for data processing where source data is ingested, processed, and placed in a durable store such as Azure Blob Storage. By processing the data with Azure Container Instances rather than statically provisioned virtual machines, you can achieve significant cost savings through per second billing. Combine Azure Container Instances with the Azure Container Instances Logic Apps connector, Azure Queues, and Azure Functions to build robust infrastructure that can elastically scale out containers on demand. With Azure Container Instances, you can run complex tasks that are capable of responding to events. The deployment is complete. Let's go to resource. So we are in my container instance. You can see under the overview, you can see status running, location East US, and OS type, operating system type, Windows. And this is public IP address 20.185.101.77. And this is our DNS name label. Just copy this DNS name, go to new tab, just enter. Now we can see this Windows Server International. So our container instance is deployed successfully. Here you can see it. And if you want to check the activity log, you can check it here. 3 minutes ago, create or update container group. And under the settings, you can click on containers. And here we can see it. 9:37 started container with Docker. You can see it, the state running. My container image, Microsoft Windows, and state running. And we can go to metrics. If you want to track metrics, you can just select CPU usage or whichever you want to choose, like a memory usage. You can pick it. You can pick the option. You can select the option, and here you can change it to area chart or bar chart. However you want to see it, you can pick it. Great. And this is how you deploy the container instances using Azure Portal. If you have any questions, please post it in the comment section. Thank you.